We need new heroes. One suited for the times we're in. Symbols are nothing without the women and men that give them meaning. And this thing... I don't know if there's ever been a greater symbol.
The building of character. And this film is intended to empower you and to study your own nature so far intellectually. If you are able to master the principles shared in this film and learn to cooperate with nature and your own evolution, you will increase your mental stature and character. And I hope that with a better understanding of your own intellectual nature, this may lead to a more purposeful cultivation of what is good in it and eradicate what is evil. This will be a deliberate self-training towards an aim that is definitely recognized. And when we commit to the making of the character, you realize to some extent what you ought to be, and you strive more or less effectively to become that which you aspire to achieve.
Your aptitude tests are off the charts, so what is it? You like being the only genius-level repeat offender in the Midwest?
Maybe I love it.
Look, so your dad dies, you can settle for a less than ordinary life. Or do you feel like you were meant for something better? Something special? Enlist in Starfleet.
You guys must be way down on your recruiting quota for the month.
Now, if you're half the man your father was, Jim, Starfleet could use you. You can be an officer in 4 years. You can have your own ship in 8. You understand what the Federation is, don't you? It's important. It's a peacekeeping and humanitarian armada.
You done?
I'm done.
It is not that definite purification, or the complete control of the thoughts, or the perfect building of the character, or the entire transmutation of the lower into the higher. It is not that all these must be accomplished, but to create the foundations of a building, in sketching out carefully and fairly the outlines of that monument which you hope to carry to perfection. And these beginnings may be carried to fulfillment, and this plan of the architect serves as basis for the finished monument. The building of the character, which is to be a distinct and positive building, which this film will set before you, which means the realization that nothing of limitation or vice must have its place in him or her, and that nothing of evil must be permitted to remain, that if any seed of vice remain, it must at once be flung without, that if any tendencies towards positive evil are still there, they must be completely and entirely rooted out. There can be no compromise with evil. There can be at least no bargaining with that which is not right and pure and good. While there may be failures in the achievements of the right, there is most definitely no satisfaction remaining in the wrong. We are dealing with the building of the positive virtues.
Your intellect has taken you far in life, but it will take you no further. Surrender, Stephen. Silence your ego, and your power will rise. Come with me.
And virtues of an exceedingly high and noble type. Virtues which the student desires to achieve in order that they may become one of the helpers and saviors of the world. Those characteristics that go to make up one of the world's redeemers and one of the pioneers of mankind.
The subconscious is motivated by emotion, right? Not reason. We need to find a way to translate this into an emotional concept.
How do you translate a business strategy into an emotion?
That's what we're here to figure out, right?
And this is a deliberate building towards a definite aim, a carving in permanent material of a statue of which the mold has already been made. There will be an inner knowingness to not allow a trace of wavering, no shadow of doubting, and every seed that he or she sows will have this absolute certainty that this seed will bear fruit after its kind, and none other will come back to them in future days. The law must give back the equivalent of which you give, and even if you give but a little, that little will come back to you, and from that he or she will bring in the future, adding always something to the store, standing a little higher with each achievement, with each new accomplishment. whether poor and small or rich and great, he/she takes it and begins to work with it, knowing that however meager it be, there is no limit to the wealth to which it may be increasing, and knowing that however small it may bulk today, there is no limit to the vastness to which it may grow in the years coming. You know that you must succeed, not a question of chance, but of definite reality. And in the way in which we build begins with right thought. This control of thoughts, which is necessary in order for the right to be chosen and the wrong to be rejected. Working steadily at thought control and knowing its conditions, understanding the laws by which thoughts are generated, and by how thoughts act in the world and react upon the generator, is now a condition to choose right thought for the building of the character.
I'm not a witch. I don't cast spells. No one taught me magic.
Your power exceeds that of the Sorcerer Supreme. It's your destiny to destroy the world.
I'm not what you say I am.
Oh, really?
Wanda,
Dottie.
my name is Sarah. I have a daughter. She's 8. Maybe she could be friends with your boys. If you like that storyline. Or the school bully even. Really anything. If you could just let her out of her room. If I could just hold her. Please.
What are you doing to her? You're making her say this.
She's your meat puppet. I just cut her strings.
And first of all, right thinking always affects others. And in the choosing of thought, in the selection of the thoughts that he or she either generates or permits to come within their consciousness, your first motive for such choice will be the effect that these thoughts will have upon others, as the choice of thoughts to which he or she will bend their energy calculates their action on the outer world. The awareness of thought working for helping, strengthening, purifying, and into the great stream of thoughts that are useful to others, with this deliberate purpose of serving and the deliberate object of this helping the world. And next, let us study the nature of thought and how they affect yourself as they react upon you to make your character, as that is of the most vital importance. As it will be the making of that character and turn it into a magnet for other thoughts, so you act as a focus for high and noble thoughts, so that all that is evil may die as it strikes against him or her, and all that is good may flow into your consciousness to gain their fresh nourishment, strength, and energy, and the good thoughts of others coming to you with new life impulse given to them as a channel of helping by the thoughts that you receive, revivify and transmits. This is the making of your character by right thinking as a dominant influence in your mind, and the training to watch your thoughts, to scrutinize them with the most attentive care, so that nothing may come which will offend, and your guardian will then stand tall at the temple of your consciousness. This truth of observation, recording, thinking, speaking, acting, for where there is not this seeking after truth and this strenuous determination to become true, there is no possibility of anything but fall, deep and terrible, in proportion to the height to which the students may have climbed. And this quality of truth is your guide and your shield. Your guide in that it gives you the insight which enables you to choose the true road from the false. And your shield in that only as you are covered with this field of truth can all the delusions and the glamours of the planes through which he or she passes fall harmless.
You gotta stop looking to other people to tell you who you are. Let me ask you. You still having those nightmares?
All the time. It means I remember. It means a part of me is still there. Which means a part of the Winter Soldier's still in me.
It is the practice of truth in thought, speech, and action that gradually wakes up that spiritual insight which pierces through every veil of illusion. And everywhere veils are spread, everywhere in the world of illusion, this deceitfulness of appearances is to be found, until the spiritual insight can pierce through the whole of them with unchanging and direct vision. The more true it is, the more gentle it needs must be. For at the very heart of all things is truth and also compassion. Therefore, the speech that reflects the innermost essence of the universe can neither carelessly wound any living being, nor be false with the slightest shadow of suspicion. Out of right speaking and right thinking, inevitably must flow right acting. That, as an outcome, must be the result of this flowing forth from the source. For action is only the manifestation of that which is within, and where the thought is pure, where the speech is true and right, the action must inevitably be noble.
Captain, I strongly object.
To what? I haven't said anything yet.
Since we cannot take the ship from the outside, the only way we can take it is from within. And as a large boarding party would be detected, it is optimal for you to take as few members of the crew as possible. It is my function aboard this ship to advise you in making the wisest decisions possible, something I firmly believe you are incapable of doing in this moment.
You're right. What I'm about to do, it doesn't make any sense. It's not logical. It is a gut feeling. I have no idea what I'm supposed to do. I only know what I can do. The Enterprise and her crew need someone in that chair that knows what he's doing. And it's not me. It's you, Spock.
This threefold cord of perfect self-control and thought, speech, and action is what binds us to service that is perfect in this character. When all this is realized, you will begin a very definite method of practice in the building of your character. First, you will form what is called an ideal.
There was an idea. Stark knows this. Called the Avengers Initiative. The idea was to bring together a group of remarkable people, see if they could become something more. See if they could work together when we needed them to fight the battles that we never could.
An ideal is at its highest an abstract thing, and if we realize how the abstract idea is formed in the brain consciousness, we shall then have a very clear view of what is meant by an ideal. Because the idea of a triangle comes in many different shapes. When you look at them separately with the brain consciousness of a child, you will find them exceedingly different. The conception of a triangle is that it always has 3 lines and no more. These 3 angles put together have always a certain definite value, and that is the 3 lines, called the sides of the triangle, bear certain relations to each other, and so on. And this abstract idea is made up by the working of the mind on all the many concrete forms. When we build an ideal, it is an idea of this abstract kind, and is the work of the image-building faculty of the mind, which draws out the essence of all the different ideas that it has gained of great virtues. That which is beautiful, true, harmonious, compassionate, and in every sense satisfying of the heart. And when the essence is extracted, then the mind constructs and throws outwards a vast heroic figure in which everything is carried to perfection, which everything touches its highest and most complete expression.
But I don't need you to tell me who I
am. In which we no longer deal with the things that are true, but with truth, and no longer with the things that are beautiful, but with beauty, and no longer with the things that are strong, but with strength, and no longer with the things that are tender, but with tenderness, and no longer with the beings who are loving, but with love. In this perfect figure, mighty and harmonious in all its proportions, and grander than anything we have ever seen, and in those rare moments of inspiration, the Spirit has cast downwards into the mind that ideal of perfection, and it is which the student makes for him or herself as perfect as he or she is able to conceive it.
What am I?
You, Vision, are the piece of the Mind Stone that lives in me. You are a body of wires and blood and bone that I created.
With it on our side.
Is it? Are you? On our side?
I don't think it's that simple.
Well, better get real simple real soon.
I am on the side of life. Maybe I am a monster. I don't think I'd know if I were one. And not what you are. And not what you intended.
You are my sadness. And my hope. But mostly you're my love.
I have been a voice with no body. A body but not human, and now a memory made real. Who knows what I might be next?
And the mind is a mirror, and images are cast upon it and are reflected in the soul that in the mirror of the mind beholds the glory of the creator of their reality. You must have the ideal before you in order that you may reflect it.
So long, darling.
And that on which the mind is constantly dwelling will inevitably be that which the man or woman shall become.